Hey guys, what's up? This is eccentric cast, if I can say that right. Jeez.
Eccentric
This I know I messed. No, let's go. Let's keep going. All right, this is Spanx here.
Skinny.
Miz.
And Mash.
Hey, he's a new guy. We found him on the streets the other day. He's the king of comedy. He's the rumble of I don't know what to say. He's done
several
stuff.
stand-up shows.
Yeah. If you
Lucky to get him, actually.
may have found one. Okay. Now
He might be pretty bad at karaoke.
we have to pay him 5
Very bad at
pennies.
karaoke, actually.
Why? I love karaoke. I got to take this guy karaoke.
Oh, yeah.
We gonna do Disney music?
Definitely, yeah. Give me Let It Go and
Songs that are memorable. Again.
Also, speaking of
Be our
Disney
guest.
music, we also managed to get Phil Collins with us in the studio.
Yeah. Say hi,
Wait,
Phil.
No, he doesn't want to be on it now.
No, he went outside to get a Coca-Cola.
We tried, but he's gone.
He's no
I'm kidding.
sponsor.
Not. All right. Well, we're gonna do a story time here. I think you guys know how that goes. I go, and then these people go, and then
You use all those
He
hand
goes-
gestures, and nobody's gonna see it.
they can see it in their imagination. Okay.
How do you even know we're people?
What?
You said all these people. How do you even know?
Then you're an alien. Fine then. Jeez.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
That's not. That's how he sounds. All right.
Let's start the story.
Okay, I've got to start. Can I start? Is that okay with you, Skinny?
Why would I care? You're starting.
Don't back up a couple inches. Okay.
A few couple inches.
A few couple inches. Okay. All right. Okay. Starting the story. that's the story bell, by the way. All right. So a long time ago, in a galaxy that was close to a castle. No, I'm kidding. No, it's it's a castle. So it's in medieval ages. All right. And the main character's name, we'll call him. What's a good? Oh, shit, I should have thought of a good name. His name is. We'll just call him Phil. Okay. His name's Phil.
Last name Up.
Yeah, Phil Up. Okay. His name's Philip. All right. Sir Philip. All right. And he was a clumsy fellow. And nobody really knew this. He was clumsy, but everybody thought he was like the best guy ever, because they didn't think he was clumsy. Because all of his clumsy stuff ended up being really good for his image, apparently. But so, anyways, the king told him to go on a mission because his daughter got kidnapped by the dragon.
What?
A flying, eating, breathing dragon. Okay.
Flying, just came by.
Flying, eating, breathing dragon.
Yes.
As opposed to dragons that don't breathe.
Yeah, he doesn't breathe, man. So this story might end here quick if he doesn't breathe. Okay. So
It's called the blue dragon.
yeah, that's the only color he turns.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
Anyways, the guy is like, Phil, Mr. Philip, you have to save the princess, and I will give you all the riches in my castle. And Phil's like, well, how much riches do you have? And he's like, I don't know, just all the riches you can find here, okay? I might not have any by the time you get back, okay? But, because I might spend it all. But no, anyways, go out and get my princess. So he takes all of his, gear, his sword and his shield, every medieval stuff that you can find, and he takes off in the direction, and the king's like, that's the wrong direction where the dragon flew, and he's like, well, maybe you should have told me this before I started walking randomly. Where'd the dragon go? And he's like, well, on that big mountain over there. Although that one, yeah, nobody could see us pointing, so the one above the forest. He's like, okay, I'll go through the forest, the dark one that's dangerous. And then he goes through the forest.
And then he gets attacked by tiny elves. So he ends up tripping on a hole and smushes all of them on accident. So he gets up and he's like, well, got stabbed by some of their tiny swords. They're like little toothpicks. So he just picks them out. He starts to walk through the forest again. Hears a bunch of scary noises, so he decides to pull out a tent and go to sleep. Because he's scared. And he can't handle it. He might have peed his pants. So he goes to sleep. He wakes up the next morning. Keeps going through the woods. And then there's a cabin. He goes over to his cabin. While he knocks on the door, he ends up missing the door and ends up hitting the window. So he hits the window and he breaks it. So he's like, man, I guess I should let myself in. So he goes ahead and opens the door. Goes in and there's like some orcs in there. They're like, what are you doing in my house? And then he's like, well, I just decided to let myself in. I can leave if you want. We never have guests. Come on. I wonder why you're rude. And then the orcs are like, what did you just say? Oh, I didn't say anything. I don't know what you're talking about. So, the orcs invite him to have dinner with them. And it ends up being roasted rats. They might have been stuffed with cheese.
Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. So they decide to eat. And then he's like, sorry, I don't have an appetite right now. So he doesn't eat the cheese stuffed rat.
You mean the rat stuffed cheese?
Shame.
What? So the next day, well, he sleeps there because it's a cabin with orcs, and he has nowhere else to go. Because he didn't grab his tent whenever he left.
He just grabbed all his weapons.
Exactly, that's all he needs. Probably doesn't know how to use them, but so the next morning, the orcs aren't awake yet, so he's like, man, I'm getting out of here before they wake up. Walks past like a little table and sees a cup with some water or some type of liquid, so he's like, okay, I'm gonna take this out, I'm thirsty. So he takes it and just leaves. And then he's like drinking it while walking to the castle. Once he gets to the castle, he
Sees a giant door ahead of him, and he wonders how he's going to get in there. So he doesn't worry about going through the door, and he still has the cup. So he just tosses it down into the ravine because there's a moat around it. But he begins to scale the wall of the castle since he can't get through the door. Makes his way up into one of the higher windows. Gets in there and realizes that he needs to go up even higher. So he does. He goes even higher. Gets up to the room that the princess should be in. And realizes there's a skeleton in there with the princess's outfit. So he makes his way back down into the main room of the castle where the dragon is located. Finds mounds of golden coins and other various items. And then talks to the dragon, and the dragon says, yeah, I already ate the princess, so I guess if whatever you're here for, I guess if the king sent you, you've already failed. So Philip was like, oh, okay, well, I don't know how I'm supposed to get any payment from this quest now. So he talks with the dragon to make a deal to fly him back to the castle. The dragon will hang back, and then he goes to talk to the king about it to basically, I guess, try to still get a reward out of it to split it 50-50. But they're going to have to try to devise a way to make the king think that his daughter is still alive so they could split the cost. Because as a dragon, he's going to want more treasure. So he hops on the dragon and flies
Back to the original king's castle. As they're getting near, they're trying to devise their plan a little bit better. And the brave Philip has a great idea. He's like, all right, so I'm going to run in, tell the king, the dragon's right behind me. I'm going to run out into the field and kill it, you know? And the king's like, that's great. What about my princess? It's like, we haven't gotten that far yet. You know, we'll find her. You know, no worries. So he gets out and he runs back out to the field right outside the castle, and here comes the dragon. The dragon comes right up over the hilltop, and they get into this epic battle of fire and spears and all sorts of stuff, and finally he gets a blow. It looks like it kills the dragon, you know. The dragon gets hit and tumbles off a ravine near the castle. And Philip goes back to the king and goes, "I've killed the dragon, king. Like, we can go get your princess again." The king goes, that dragon was green. Mine's blue. I think you went to the wrong castle, man." He's like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, the blue dragon's in the mountains. Didn't you forget? I said go to the mountains, not the castle." Philip's like, "Oh, crap. All right, yeah, I'll go right away. Sure thing." So he leaves, and as he's leaving, he meets the green dragon again. Green dragon's like, "So, did it work?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, totally, man. You're free and clear." Like, he's not even pissed about his princess at all. But can I get a lift? Maybe like up to the mountains? Because, you know, I just really think the view up there would be cool. And I'm really tired after this quest, you know, so they start going up to the mountains, and, you know, they're flying over to the forests, and as they're flying over the forest, the dragon's like, "Oh, you know what, hold on, you know, I gotta make a pit stop real quick. I know these hilarious little elves in the forest, you are just gonna get a kick out of them. We gotta go check these guys out. They have this great comedy routine where they ambush people, and then they give them a bunch of gold. It's great, right? So, let's go land there, and then we'll just see what happens." So, you know, Philip's kind of freaking out now, because, I mean, he kind of squished these elves, but he's like, yeah, alright. So as they're coming down to land, Philip's like, crud, do you know where my shield and sword is? And the dragon's like, "Oh, I don't know. I got your spear here, I've been holding on to it with my arm." He's like, "Oh, cool, yeah." So he grabs his spear, and he starts looking around at it, and lo and behold, he accidentally drops it, and hits the dragon right through the heart. Unfortunately, they're still like 50 feet in the air, so they come tumbling down to the ground, slam to the ground. Everybody's dead, except Philip, of course, because, you know, he's Klutz, and somehow Klutz has always survived things like that. But now the dragon's dead. He's stuck. He doesn't know what he's supposed to do. His awesome troop of elves that were supposed to give him gold, apparently they're gone too. And then next thing you know, a bunch of orcs come out of the woods, and they're like, "Hey, we know you. You stay at our house. Where's our booze, man?"
They get all vicious and angry. They pull out their weapons. They're not even gonna. It doesn't even seem like they're gonna give him an exclamation or like a time to, you know, time to even say what happened to his booze. And Philip's like, "Wait, hold on, guys. I think we can help all of us. You know, I think there's a good brewery up on top of the mountain up there. We need to go to that, okay? Because I mean, I kind of drank your booze, okay, to be honest. But I know exactly where to get better ones. You know, I'm sure we can get better ones, okay?" New York's like, "Oh, you know, this actually sounds good, you know. This guy seems like a pretty good guy. He stayed at our house, you know. He refused to eat our rats, but it's okay. Because, I mean, they weren't really good anyways. So, because, you know, the cheese wasn't really good. The cheese was all moldy and stuff. But so he goes, and he's like, "All right, follow the way, guys." And the orcs start heading up first, and he's like, "All right, I'm going to try to ditch these guys, because I don't really want to be here when they're find out that I actually don't know any place to get booze." So he tries to sneak off, and he sneaks off. And he sees this other cabin, you know, and he tries to knock on it again. But no, he slips again and knocks the window and breaks the window again. It's a different cabin, you know, so he's like, "Yeah, I might as well let myself into this one, too." So he goes into this one. And he sees this old person sitting on a rocking chair, just sitting there. He's old, obviously. No, he's playing like a cello. It's because that's what they play back in the day. Not really, but this one's playing a cello. Okay, so he's just sitting there, and Philip's like, "Oh, I didn't think anybody was in here." "Well, you broke my darn window. How do you not know what anybody's in here? It's a cabin. Why? That's where people live, right?" He's like, "Well, I guess, but you know, I just thought nobody was in this one." And he's like, well, there is. So, and I'm just sitting here, mind my own business. And the guy's like, well, maybe you can help me. I need to get up to this mountain because I need to save this princess that I was supposed to save a while ago. But then, I'm not going to even go with the story because it's kind of a long story. But anyways, can you help me? And he's like, well, of course I can. I'm a wizard. He's like, wait, you're a wizard? He's like, yeah, I'm a wizard. And Philip's like, I haven't really seen any wizards, but, we have flying, breathing dragons, so I think this will work out. And he's like, yeah, but first I need some ingredients, because we have a teleportation spell I can do that will lead you straight up to the mountain. He's like, oh, okay. But I need some mushrooms that these elves I know, they collect these mushrooms, and you need to find these elves so you can find these mushrooms. And Philip's like, well, darn, this is not going his plan. So he's like, all right, I'll figure out what to do. I'll go find these mushrooms that these elves have. And he goes.
So he goes to where he squished the elves at. And then he's like, man, I wonder where their house could be. So he just keeps walking around in the woods. And then he sees a tiny little village underneath a tree. So he goes over there, and there's like a huge pile of mushrooms right behind their house. And then he's like, oh, there's the mushroom. So he grabs the mushrooms, and there's like 1 gold coin in there. He's like, well, if this is all I was gonna get, I might as well kill him. so he put the gold coin in his pocket, and he just wrapped the mushrooms in a cloth towel thing. So he goes back up to the wizard, and then he's like, okay, I have the mushrooms, now what do I gotta get? He's like, well, you gotta get a green dragon's tooth. Oh, I know exactly where that's at. So he goes back to the dragon, and he's like, okay, which tooth should I get? Because of course dragons have a lot of teeth. So he's like, this one has a burnt mark on it, I'll take this one. So he keeps hitting it with a spear because he doesn't have anything else to hit it with. So he keeps trying to hit it, and like starts to wiggle. So then he yanks it off, and then he's like, okay, now I'll take this back to the wizard. So he starts to take it back to the wizard, and then the orcs find him again. He's like, where'd you go? I thought you were gonna take us to the booze. He's like, well, I found a wizard. He might be able to get you booze. He's like, you can come with me. So they start walking over there, and they get to the cabin. They go in, and it's like, I found some orcs, and they need some booze. Do you mind giving them some booze? I drank theirs on accident. So he, the wizard's all like, he's like, yeah, I have some over there in the bin. So he goes over to the bin, opens it, takes some booze out, gives it to him, and then he's like, okay, now leave. So they're like, oh, way to be rude. And then they go ahead and leave, so they don't want to cause any problems with the wizard, do they? So he gives they leave, and Phil gives the wizard the dragon tooth, and he's like, so this was from a green dragon, right? I was like, yeah, I killed it. When did you kill it? I don't know. Maybe a couple hours ago. Doesn't matter. So the wizard's like, no, it doesn't matter. I was just wondering what happened to the dragon. How'd you get this tooth? Did you ask him? It's like, I just told you I killed it. Oh, sorry, I didn't hear that. So, okay, and then he's like, the next item that I'm gonna need you to get is
a golden lock of a princess's hair. So Philip's starting to think, well, this will be play to my advantage since I have to go that way anyway. So he has to figure out a way to get up the mountain.
He was gonna use.
But of course he was gonna use the wizard's teleportation. So he asked the wizard, well, I know where one of those are. So do you think you could teleport me up the mountain a little bit? or possibly all the way. So the wizard says, well, of course. And he's like, I just want to let you know that whatever happens when I teleport you. And then Philip's like, okay. So the wizard goes to teleport him, and he only goes like 5 feet. And then then Philip's like, is this as far as you can take me? He's like, oh, hold on, I'm a little rusty. So he teleports him again, and then he goes 20 feet. And he's like, is that all? And he's like, and then the wizard says, I can go no further. So Philip then starts to rock climb his way up this mountain. As he's climbing up the mountain, he slips and falls, but his cape he was wearing catches one of the tree branches that are up on top of the mountain. So he was saved from death yet again with his clumsiness, and then scurries back up onto the ledge and continues on to the next castle that is on top of this mountain that has the blue breathing dragon up there with the actual princess. So he makes his way to the castle and opens these 2 big double wooden doors. A slow creaking is heard as he walks into the biggest room of the castle. Very dimly lit, looks around everywhere, and doesn't see a dragon. So he starts to make his way up to the nearest staircase, thinking that's going to take him to a tall tower, which usually are where the princesses are kept in old stories. So he goes all the way up there, and, well, what do you know it? He doesn't find anything. So he makes his way back down, and then discovers that there's another set of stairs that leads down. So he goes down, and it seems like he's been walking down for several minutes. It starts to get darker and darker as he goes further and further. Finally makes his way down to a very large room in which there is the blue dragon sitting on a very large chair and said, I was expecting you. And then the princess is in a cage next to him. And he notices one key element. The princess is bald. So then he's thinking, well, I can't repay the wizard the debt I owe him, so I don't know what I'm going to do there, so maybe I can find another way to get some hair to give him. Even though he did try to use his teleport spell, which failed. But anyway, so then he asks the blue dragon, do you mind if I just, take her out of the cage and just calmly walk out of here with her, no fuss or anything, we don't have to fight. I feel like that would be too much work. The dragon says, well, what kind of fun would that be? And Philip was like, hey, I'll have you know that I just took down a green dragon, so I could probably take you on. The blue dragon's like, you said a green dragon? Philip said, yeah. And the blue dragon says, that was my brother. Philip said, oh, I'm sorry, you looked nothing alike, so I just assumed. And the blue dragon said, well, it was my half-brother, but still my brother. So I'm probably going to have to do something about it since, I guess he is family. So Philip unsheaths his sword, and then upon unsheathing it, it slips out of his hand. And then the dragon inches toward him.
And now that Philip has no sword and is completely defenseless, he starts to come up with ideas. He's like, wait. All right. Can we make a bargain, right? What do you want as payment for me killing your brother-in-law? And so the blue dragon's like, well, he's family. The stepmom's not going to be happy. but I didn't really like her that much anyway, and he owed me $20, so we'll work something out. All right, let me see. I mean, I do really want to eat you though, because I'm kind of hungry, and I don't know, the blonde hair off this girl, it just really didn't fill me up. I don't know what I was thinking. I thought it looked tasty, but after the fact, it was just kind of really stringy. It was just not very tasty at all. How about this? All right, I haven't had a good laugh in like 1,000 years. Okay, so you entertain me, right? Just entertain me somehow. So Philip's like, crud. Okay. I can entertain you, right? Let's see. I can sing. Like do re. No, I can't sing. Never mind. Yeah, Blue Dragon agreed. He was quite horrified by that singing. It was really, really bad. Philip's like, maybe I can dance for you. Maybe. And Blue Dragon again. He's like, yeah, no, I don't do that. That doesn't sound exciting to me at all. I'm really just thinking I'm just gonna eat you. I'm just gonna eat you. And Philip's like, how about this? I can juggle. It's pretty good, right? That's pretty good, right? And Dragon's like, yeah, all right, yeah. I got some human skulls lying here. You can juggle them. Philip's like, sure. So he grabs them and starts to juggle, and he drops them and shatters. And he's like, I only have 2 now. Well, the Dragon's like, well, you got that sword sitting there. Why don't you juggle that with it? Philip's like, yeah, okay. So he grabs the 2 human skulls and the sword, and he starts juggling. He's doing pretty good, and then, clumsy thing kicks in and, drops the sword, and it goes right through his foot. And he starts to scream. He's like, oh my gosh, my foot! The sword went right through my foot. This is horrible. Dragon is just cracking up, though. He just finds this hilarious, He's like, oh, what, you just dropped the sword right on your foot? That's hilarious. And he's just laughing. And Philip, sorry, he's in so much pain. He just can't handle it. And by this point, even the princess is laughing at him pretty hard, which is making Philip feel really bad about himself. So he's like running around, with the sword still stuck in his foot because he hadn't taken it off. He heard somewhere you're not supposed to take the sword out of your foot. It's bad for the bleeding. So he's running around this thing, tripping over human skulls, screaming like a maniac. The Blue Dragon over there is just busting up laughing, and the princess is, joining in the fun. But unfortunately, the Blue Dragon laughs so hard, he accidentally kicks the wall. And a huge stalactite comes crashing straight down on him, spears him right through the head, killing the Blue Dragon where he stands. Fillmore's like, whoa, what a strike of luck. This is crazy. So he hobbles over to the princess, who is still laughing uncontrollably. And he's like, all right, princess, let's get out of here. We have to make it all the way down the mountain somehow. And maybe talk to that wizard. And maybe get back to your dad and get a reward. So she's like, yeah. The dragon showed me some things while we were up here. We might be able to work something out. So they climb back up into the castle, and when they get all the way back up into the castle, they climb through there's a side door. Upstairs, downstairs. And there's a side door too. They go through the side door, and lo and behold, right there in the side door, there's a very small door. And Philip's like, what's the small door? She's like, oh, well, just open it up and take a look. So he opens it up, and it's another room, and he's very confused by this. And so he crawls through, and right after him crawls the princess. And once they get into that other room, they start looking around, and what's sitting there on the ground is a dead princess. It was a teleportation room to the Green Dragon's castle, where they found the other princess. Philip's like, I got it! We got this dead princess here, all skin and bones, but she's still got blonde hair. We can make this work. So he shaves off this dead corpse body hair. They bundle it up. He's still got the sword in his foot, so he's hobbling pretty slow. So they hobble out, start hobbling towards the forest, and as they're leaving, the wizard shows up and is like, what's up with the sword? You know, your foot's all messed up. He's like, yeah, I know, it was a long story, big battle. I got you your blonde hair. He's like, sweet, I can teleport you to the top of the mountain. He's like, you know what, forget the mountain. Send me back to the castle. I'm really sick of this whole travel thing. I kind of want my riches, and, maybe this princess will grow some hair back, and she'll be pretty cute. And I don't know. I mean, the king might be pretty happy. So, wizards are like, all right, I'll teleport you back. So, wizard teleports them back, and they show up, and poof, they're in the king's chambers. Chambers, throne room. And king's overjoyed. He's like, no way, you got my daughter back. That's so awesome. Yeah, good for you, Philip. That's great. So about that riches I promised you, we have a problem. So you're really clumsy, and we figured, you probably wouldn't succeed. So I bet all of the riches of the kingdom that you would die. And we're broke now. So thanks for that. But you can have my bald princess daughter.
Oh, all right. And the bald princess daughter was like, I don't want him. He's clumsy. And he's like, well, but I just saved you though. And she's like, well, yeah, but I mean, I probably could have escaped. To be honest, the blue dragon was never home. To be honest, he was always out, and the cage was just wide open. I just didn't like my dad, so I did not want to be near my dad. So I was like, I'll just chill here next to the dragon. But I know where to get riches though. And he's like, oh yeah? And she's like, yeah, if you promise not to, be clumsy and, stalk me or something, because I know you like me, even though I don't have any hair anymore, you probably find me attractive still. Philip's like, well, I don't get, everybody doesn't like me because I'm clumsy and I end up killing people, to be honest. I don't know why it's this clumsy thing, and I should really not carry swords around, but I just like them so much, But I end up killing anybody I know because I'm so clumsy. But where's these riches you speak of? And she's like, I think these orcs that like beer so much, they have a bunch of riches. Maybe we could steal stuff from them. And Philip's like, these orcs that I've been in their cabin though. They had no riches in there. And she's like, oh no, that cabin, no, that's not where they keep their riches. Why would they keep their riches there? They make this most amazing alcohol that they have, and they sell it, and that's how they get their money. And he's like, oh well, they have it in their cabin though? And she's like, no, I just told you they don't have it in their cabin. Okay, I just told you that. Do you not listen to me, Phil? This is why we never work out. Okay, because you don't listen. Okay, and he's like, well, you're naggy. That's why we don't never work out. All right, let's just go to these orcs and maybe get this. Maybe we'll split it. And she's like, well, I get 60. No. I get 60 because I rescued you. And she's like, remember, I could have got out. Okay. He's like, well, why'd you let him eat your hair then? And she's like, I wanted to stay there. I told you I didn't like my dad. Okay. So let's just go to these orcs. And he goes through the forest to try to find this cabin again. And she's like, I thought you said you knew where the cabin was. And she's like, I told you it wasn't a cabin anyways, so let's just go and find this area where they keep. Let's just find the orcs, okay? And they go and search through the forest.
So they end up getting to the cabin anyway. And it's like, okay, this is their cabin. I was like, did you not listen? Oh, wait, can we not check here? I was like, I guess we can since we're already here. You dumbass. So they go inside. The orcs aren't home, of course. They're probably still up on the mountain because they don't know how to get back. So they're just rumbling through all of their stuff. There's like a little rug on the floor, so they move it, and there's a little hatch down there. So they pull open the hatch, and there's like nothing down there. It's like, man, what is this for? So Phil goes down there anyway. There's like a little baby orc down there, just chilling, and the baby orc is just staring at him, bold-eyed, like just freaking him out. He's like, oh shit, I'm getting the fuck out of here. It's scary. So he's like, he still kind of looks around while he's about to go to while he goes back up to the ladder. So he goes up the ladder, closes the hatch, and puts like a whole bunch of stuff on top of it. So he's like, okay, nothing was down there, so it definitely isn't in this cabin. It's like, I told you before. It's like, but we were already here. So they end up going to a like outside of the house. Oh, the cabin anyway. And there's like a shelter door thing, like the double door things for like tornadoes. So they open it, and it goes right down to the orc baby again. So he's like, oh shit. So he goes back up. He closes the doors and goes around all around the orc's house and tries to throw stuff on the door so the baby orc can't get out and scare him. So he's like, okay, that goes back down to the basement. You don't want to know what's down there. So she's like, but I do want to know what's down there. It's like, it's a baby orc. What's wrong with the baby orc? It's an orc. So I'm like, so? Is that why we threw everything on the door and this door outside? Yeah, that thing's scary as shit. So she's like, okay, I know a big building not far away from there. I think that's where they probably keep all their treasures. So they started going over, walking through the woods and stuff, and she's like, yeah, I heard about some elves that had a bunch of treasure in this woods. It's like, oh, not anymore. So she's like, what did you say? Oh, nothing. So they just keep walking, and there's like, she's like, they're around here somewhere. It's like, no, they're not. What'd you say? Oh, nothing. So they keep walking, and they end up finding the big building. So she's like, so you're gonna go up to the door and open it? She's like, why would I do that? I don't own this place. So she goes up to it. She straight up just breaks the window and opens the door. She's like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm getting in the building because there might be treasures in here. She's like, so we're just gonna go in this people's place and steal their stuff? Yeah, that's why we're here. So she opens the door, they go in, and there's like, it's actually where they keep all their beer at. It's like, man, the treasure might be here, but why can't we just drink while we're here too? So they slowly start drinking, and then they're just searching around the warehouse building place. And whenever they get back to like a little office room, there's like a little wooden closet thing. So they go over and open it, and then a whole bunch of gold pieces fall out, and they're like, man, I don't know how we're going to get this back because this stuff is heavy. So I was like, do you have a wheelbarrow? Yeah, of course. Let me pull it out of my pocket. So she has like a toy wheelbarrow in her pocket. It's like, this'll work, right? No? How did you think this is gonna work? I know a wizard that make this an actual wheelbarrow. I know one too, and he was pretty dumb. So, whenever they're like, okay, we're gonna have to go find something to get out of this. So, they start walking out of the warehouse to try to find it, and then they end up finding
A man that is cloaked in a black cloak. And they, he asks them, do you need help with anything? Look like you're trying to find something. Looks like you're on a quest for something. And then Philip said, yeah, we kind of got something, like some shady operation going on where we're trying to steal stuff. And the princess says, hey, watch your mouth. Maybe don't say any of that because he might want some of the treasure. So, but Philip was like, well, guess the cat's out of the bag now, so I guess we're going to have to tell him and have to split the treasure with him. So, Philip tells him about the treasure and that they need a way to transport the treasure back to the main kingdom where they live. So the cloaked man says, well, of course, I am a wizard, so Philip says, well, isn't just everybody and their brother wizard around here then, huh? Hopefully you're not as terrible as the last one we met. So the cloaked man says, yeah, I'm pretty good, I'd have to say. And then he takes his hood off. It's about a 80-year-old man. And he's like, my name's Gerald. So he's like, I can help you with anything you need. So he reaches, pulls back part of his cloak, revealing some high-tech looking equipment that is not even from the era. And he tries to hide that from the princess and Philip as he pulls out one of the devices. And he says, here, let me get my wand, as he does air quotes, to help you transport this stuff. So he's like, show me where the treasure is. So Philip and the princess take Gerald over to the room where they found all the treasure. And he pulls out his quote-unquote wand, which is actually just technology from his time period, and goes to get all the gold in this little capsule. And then after he traps it all in the capsule, he says, all you have to do is just press this button and it'll all come out. And then the orcs come crashing through their front door and ask, well, what are you guys doing in here? Trying to steal our treasure? And Philip was like, well, obviously. What else will we be doing in here? And then the princess says, oh, the princess just makes a beeline for the exit and tries to go back to the kingdom. And then one of the orcs fires an arrow straight through Gerald's head. So Gerald keels over and dies. And then Philip starts rummaging through his cloak and finds all these interesting looking devices that, well, he just thinks are just quote-unquote magic items. So he grabs one of the items, which is what looks to be a cell phone, but he uses it and presses a button on it.
And a voice comes over the magic black box and says, this is Siri, how can I help? It's like, oh, hi, I need money. And it says, yes, I have plenty of employment opportunities near you. What? No, I don't need a job, I just want money. Oh, well, I can find an ATM for you. Sure, let's do that. A few seconds later, he comes back. It appears you're in the wrong time period. It's like, well, this piece of junk was useless. But, you know, it looks magical, so he sticks it in his pocket and walks off. But he's still stuck here in his castle. Some pissed off orcs. And it's like, well, what now? I mean, it's a pretty nice house, castle thingy. You know, I can make this. I can make this work. Yeah. Probably need to do some renovations though. You know, just work on the entryway. You know, gotta fix some of these windows and maybe put up a moat or something. So gets to work working on this house. Seeing as how he's broke now, doesn't know where anybody is. It's like, well, all right, I'll start by fixing this window. So he starts fixing the window, and as he's replacing this window, you know, that clumsiness kicks in again, and a piece of glass falls down and slices his wrist. No! Starts to bleed out. Oh my goodness! Someone call for help! And then from his pocket he hears, dialing 911. No service found. Please go to a higher ground for better reception. It's like, no! I'm gonna die! And then the princess comes back and says, I went home to my father. The guy's still a dick. Can I stay here? It's like, yes, you can stay here. But you have to pay rent. And I'm probably gonna die in a few minutes. She says, that's horrible. It's like, come over here and give me a hug before I die. Okay. So she goes over there, and sure enough, he slowly slips off into the gloom and loses consciousness.
And she's like, oh, this is the best guy I've ever had. So clumsy, so beautiful, so humble. And the guy who kind of rescued me. Not really, but maybe I'll just shave off his hair because I still don't have any hair. So, as she's shaving his hair, the thing falls out of his pocket. And it's like, hello, do you need any help? I'm Siri. She's like, what the hell is this? So she steps on it and squishes it because she was afraid of it. So she's sitting there. She's like, now I've got a house. I've got a head full of hair. I think I'm good. My dad's not here, so he's not a dick now. So now I need to get myself a dragon to protect me and act like I'm a distressed princess in distress. Yeah, princess and damsel in distress. Thank you. So I can pretend to be a damsel in distress, and maybe I can get a good-looking guy here. You know, maybe to protect me. No, hopefully not this Philip guy, because nobody likes him. But who knows? But I think this house will go well. And the orcs come in, and they're like, "You're still here? I thought you guys left. What are you doing? Where's all of our money?" She's like, I honestly don't know. I just came in here and the guy's committing suicide or something. I don't know, his wrist or slit and everything. I have no idea. So I just came here. I want a head full of hair, okay? So calm down. So I got a head full of hair, but hey, wait. Actually, you know what? Since my dad is a dick, I think you guys should kill him. And the orcs are like, what good would that do? I mean, how would that get our treasure back? Maybe he's got treasure. I don't know. You'll just have to find out. You can have all the treasure that he has if he has any. And the orcs are like, I don't think he has any since you said if. And she's like, well, you guys are smart orcs for being orcs. You know, they give you a bad rep. Because they think, people think orcs are just terrible and stupid. Well, we are, but that's besides the point. So. The orcs go and they end up just killing her. So.
But then they think about that they might as well go kill the king anyway because he might have gold. So they get to the castle, they knock on the door, and then the guard is like, "What are you orcs doing here?" It's like, "We came to kill the king." It's like, why? The princess told us to. We killed her too. She's back at a warehouse that way, somewhere. should we get people there? I don't know. She's already dead. With Philip, yeah, that guy got to save her. Yeah, that didn't work very well. So, can we come in? Of course you can. So he has to be polite. He's a guard. So he's pretty much a door greeter. So he goes in. All the orcs and the gatekeeper, they start walking toward the king, and then the orcs slowly start pulling out knives and stuff. And the king is like, "Whoa, what are you guys doing?" Nothing. Sir, they said that they were here to kill you. I was like, is that why you guys have the knives out? Of course not.
Oh, yes.
These are very sharp cutlery right here. These nice sharp edges, and then they accidentally stabbed the gatekeeper. It's like, oh man, he needs a medic. So then they're like, get the doctor in here. So then they're all distracted on trying to save the gatekeeper for no reason. He's just a gatekeeper. So it's not like they can't get another one. So while everyone's worried about the gatekeeper, the orcs slowly work their way over to the king and they're like, where now? And then like start stabbing him a couple times. And they keep stabbing him, and then they like push him over. So, and then they like try to drag his body away so no one notices, because everyone's still worried about the gatekeeper. So, even though he wasn't really yelling, he was kind of a bigger guy, couldn't feel it. So, but he still bled out. So they started dragging him away, and he was still kind of alive. And they're like, "Where's your treasures at?" I was like, "I don't have any. If there is any more, it's in that room over there." So they go over to the room, and then the only treasure that they find is a golden banana. And it ends up being a fake banana. It's just a regular banana. So they eat it, and they're like, man, we should get back to our kid. So they start going back. So they're like, man, we haven't been here in like a couple weeks. I hope it's still alive. I was like, it's okay. I won't be paying child support. So it's like, what does that even mean? We're still together. Not for long. So they get back to there, and they're like, their house is all rumbled through, and both doors on the outside and on the inside are like covered with stuff. I'm like, man, maybe we should have. So they start moving stuff away from the door. They go down to the baby, and they're like, the baby's like looking at them all weird and stuff. It's like, oh, it's still alive. Okay, let's go back up. So they close the door, and then they're just thinking about their life, and they grow old, and then they die. The end.